I added it up last year. I did about 30,000 miles traveled going from lake to lake. Thousands of gallons of gas. I don't know how much money I spent on tackle, but it was a bunch. And between competition and practice days, there's about 300 hours a year on the clock, beating the locks, beating the weather, beating adversity, all of that. And that can be done perfectly. And you can make one wrong decision and your whole season is down the tubes.
Oh my gosh!
For 2025, my tournament season starts off in Florida. Now, this is the land of the Giants. There's no doubt about that. The all-time 5 bass record lives here on the Toho Kissimmee chain. And some of the best days I ever had have always come in Florida. If you're not familiar with the Kissimmee chain of lakes, the Kissimmee chain is connected by a system of locks and canals that sprawl across 5 lakes. All the lakes in the Kissimmee chain are pretty much lined with some type of aquatic vegetation, grasses for their predominant structure. But the hard part is not the grass. The hard part is figuring out what's going to be the right lake.
That is freaking hurt.
Oh my God. The distance in between the lakes and the canals make it almost impossible to go from one lake to the next during a tournament day. It's possible, but very unlikely. So you got to pick your tournament. It sounds super easy, but each lake has its own little unique personality, in my opinion. For instance, if you decide to fish Toho and for that particular day, Lake Toho's just in a bad mood for whatever reason, you probably don't want to be on Lake Toho. And then there's all these little outliers like Cypress Lake and Tiger Lake. And if they turn on, that's the place you want to be and you can win this event. Nevertheless, a decision has got to be made and a plan has got to be in place. And this week, I got to make my final decision. I got to the ramp way too early this morning. Usually I'm pretty late, and I don't know, today I was feeling froggy. I guess it's the beginning of the season. I'm excited to go fishing, y'all. I hadn't tournament fished since like last May or so, so I'm probably a little bit excited. But I got to the ramp way too early. It's dark. Florida's been kind of good to me over the years. It is a tricky place, but it's a place that I enjoy fishing nonetheless. So curious to see how practice is going. I'm gonna take a completely different approach today than I have in the past. You'll see it in the video what I'm talking about. I probably could go ahead and get launched now. We got a lot of water to cover, a lot of things to figure out for this week. Last chance to figure out how I can catch a few fish. I think it'll be a good day today. I found just enough on Toho yesterday to make me want to fish here again. So here I am. I'm gonna go out here and see if I can figure out how to catch just a few more fish. I do like flipping these pads and stuff like this. I thought about it though. I flip pads like this all the time, but I don't. When I really think about it, I don't know if I ever caught a big one doing it. So I probably really should leave it alone. But if I can find pads with hydrilla mixed, I like that though, because when you get pads, it basically creates shade so the hydrilla can't grow where the pads is. It makes like a hole. So if you find the two mixed, a lot of times you can get rich. that one get it. It's a keeper. Keeper nonetheless. I'll tell you something I do like about this area. When I get this fish in, I'll show you something I like. This is my new Signature Series rod too from Level that I'm working on. This is the prototype. I got 3. Actually, I got 4. The spinning rod, right. I think we got him pretty much dialed like a bar of soap. Get it like dial, bar of soap. Oh, I hit him how much he bleed, how hard I hit him. Let me put that one back. What did I say I was gonna show you? Oh, I'm gonna show you why I like this area. The more I kind of get in here, let me find me a little whizzle worm. Okay, so you see where I'm fishing. Some isolated pads here and there. A little bit scattered here, a little bit scattered there. What I like about it, I know there's a cold front coming, so they're probably not gonna be out here. I just caught that fish out here in the middle. They're probably not gonna do that in the tournament. I'll tell you what they're probably gonna do. See this little grassy island thing? They can push under that. You see those reeds, that reed bank back there? They can push under that. Okay, I think we just found something, guys. I think we just found something. Okay. Another one. Here's a little crankbait. I'm gonna pull down right quick. I'll show you the little crankbait I'm throwing. That's the little crankbait on my new Signature Series cranking rod. It's a little fat 2.5 pounder, so I don't know what that's about, but I like it. We're gonna do some more of that. I don't know if those would be like pre-spawn fish that are, could be pre-spawn fish that are trying to go back in this stuff and spawn, or if it's gonna be, I don't know if it's that or if it's post-spawn fish. Don't really care, but I'm gonna be looking for some more of this the rest of the day. All I did is just throwing it down the side just like it's riprap. I like that. He rocked it too, man. Let's look for this area to be protected by a north wind right in here. Probably catch them on jerkbait at rattle trap too. I mean a chatterbait for sure. There he is again. There he is again. Gee, that's like back to back to back. Oh, they're all peeing too. Put a waypoint down here. Huh. I always wanted to catch them down here doing this. Damn, that's a fish. Is that a bass? I don't think that's a bass, is it? It is a bass. It is a bass. It's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's the kind you need right there. See that? Let's slide that one in. Since we're on the subject of talking about crankbaits, I know that's something I get a lot of DMs about. And within the app, you guys know I have the Straight Up Fishing app. Quite a few people ask about fishing crankbaits. And I'm actually holding a seminar, in-person seminar in March. We're actually doing it 4 days this year. Typically it's just a one-day event, but this year we're doing it 4 days. I'll tell you a little bit more about it. But we're gonna talk about crankbaits and how you can use them in a lot of different ways. I don't think many people think about fishing crankbaits in Florida, but obviously, as you can see, it works pretty good. But at this seminar, we're gonna do on Saturday, the 29th, March 29th. Love to have you there. Just gonna talk about springtime fishing, what you need to be fishing, where you need to go, what gear you need to use, and how to break down new lakes, sort of like what I'm doing right now. But the 2 days before that, which is what I'm kind of excited about, and I think it's gonna be really cool, is I'm actually having, we're just fishing. Just people within the Straight Up Fishing app. We're gonna get together, we're gonna go fishing on Lake Russell. I'll make an editor's note. Editor's editor, put all the information for my fishing retreat in the description box and comments. You can find everything at shopbelat.com. Listen, have you ever wanted to just drop everything and just focus on fishing for like 3 or 4 days solid? Good. Load up your boat, load up your camper, load up your dog, your family, your wife, whatever farm animals you got, and come to Calhoun Falls State Park for my fishing retreat that I'm having March 27th through March 30th. For the first 2 days of the fishing retreat, we're just gonna focus on fishing, and then I'll be there to guide you along the way to tell you the best areas of the lake to fish on Lake Russell, which is where we're having the event, and some of the best lures that you can throw. All the details you need to know about my Straight Up Fishing Retreat at Calhoun Falls State Park at Lake Russell, March 27th through March 30th, you can find at shopbelat.com. That's a lot to say. I can't believe I got that in one take. Another one on the crankbait. Not the biggest fish, but it's a different way to catch them, you know. I noticed something different down through here. It's hard edge, like there's hydrilla everywhere on the lake, but there's none right here. That's a pattern. That's certainly a pattern. I know that's not a giant fish, but you swing on enough of those, you swing on enough of them, you will have swung on enough of them. Hey, if you swing on enough of them, you will have swung on enough of them. Now we got something blowing in. You see that behind me there? That is, we got a front that's coming through this week. The morning of the tournament is supposed to be 39 degrees, which is affecting the strategy that I want to use for fishing. That's why I'm fishing where I am. That's why I'm using the baits. That's why I'm looking where I'm going, because what's going on now is going to be completely different because of what you see right there. The wind's been blowing out of the south all day long. It's been blowing steady. Sometimes it's calm. It got hot and now it's blowing cold. It literally instantly got cold. It cooled down 20 degrees up there. It went from 80 to probably upper 50s, maybe 60 now. It's been blowing out of the south the entire day. Now it's blowing out of the north. So that's that front coming that we're gonna have to deal with the first day of the tournament. That's tournament fishing for you. mind catching a few more like that. I found this little backwater area where I'm fishing right now. It's kind of sneaky. Like I could barely see it from the lake, but when I went back home yesterday along the road, I could see this one little backwater area, a bunch of isolated pads, lily pad stems. It's actually where they sprayed it too, where they sprayed the grass, creates these big open spawning bays, which is what I like to fish when I'm here. Fish has a few mites on it. Look, I'm gonna put this fish back in the water and I'll talk to y'all about this. But it has, you see behind me, isolated pads. See that little isolated stuff right there behind me? But they sprayed all of this out, and that creates spawning bays. A lot of people get mad in Florida when they spray, but truly and honestly, you have to spray or all this grass is in and the fish don't have anywhere to spawn. What you want to do is spray out these big open area spawning bays, like what we call them, and that's what they did here. So all these fish are going to come here and spawn at the right time when they get the right conditions for what they want to do. But they just recently did it, so I don't, two things. Don't know if the fish, I'm sure there's had to be at least one wave of spawn. I haven't seen a lot of bids this week. Two, I don't know if it's been so freshly sprayed that they haven't had time to come here and find it, know it's here yet. At least one did. So I'll keep looking around, see if I can catch another one. Little bitty one. This is where the decision making comes in right here. So I've been fishing on big Toho all morning, and the first day of practice I did fish on Kissimmee, which is where I usually like to go fish. I didn't really like Kissimmee this time, which is why I'm here at Toho. But I do, before this day is over, I want to go and practice Cypress Lake. I feel like I did a bunch of research, and it's my understanding Cypress has quite a bit of hydrilla. And with the cold front we got coming, I'd like to see if I can get a few bites in Cypress. So before this day ends, I want to go over to Cypress and just peruse around, look around and see if there's anything there that's interesting. I'm gonna show y'all how to put an O-ring on. My buddy Tron, one night he was in my app. He said, man, I need somebody, anybody got a Wacky rig tool. I can't put my O-rings on. What you do, you take a pair of pliers, needle nose pliers, you can take scissors, you can take anything that you can open like that. Slide your O-ring over that thing. Whatever it is, I'm using needle nose pliers. Take your worm, like open the pliers up like that, and you see how it creates that gap. Slide your worm down in between it. You don't need a Wacky rig tool to put an O-ring on, guys. That's it. She done. I tie a Palomar knot because Palomar knots work regardless of what anybody else says. You want to tie something else? Tie something else, bruh. It's all on you. It's your line. You can tie it however you want it. Tie that. I got my little handy dandy line cutter right there. And I take my hook. I put him in right there. Ah. There we go. We're ready to go fishing. That's a big one. That's a big one. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Dude, they look so big when you pull, I guess it's because they're so dark. They always look like giants. Now that's 2 right here. What I like about this is, like I said, all of this hydrilla, I could come down the side. Everybody's probably flipping this stuff, and you come down the side of this with this Wacky rig. You know, the other thing I could throw is a prop bait down the side of this. I like this a lot. This could work. Big one. Look how dark that thing is. What they're doing is setting up on top of that hydrilla. Alright, that's enough in here, guys. Let's get out of here. Let's see. I've got quite a bit of time left before it gets dark. I want to say it's probably 4:30. It's 2 hours. Here's the thing. That lake is huge. That looks really big out there. But I can find 2 or 3 more spots. Even if I find just 1 more spot, the more I think about it, just like this, before the sun goes down. This is very specific. Simple as this fishing looks, the spot is complicated, the bait and the fishing is very simple. I know a lot of y'all, you might not think that's a lot. I feel like there'll be fewer people here. It's bigger. It's got more hydrilla. Should be bigger fish here. But you know, you gotta put the pieces of the puzzle together. Catching a few fish is good. I'm glad I'm catching, you know, the few that I've run across, and I'm catching the way that I actually really like fishing too. So that's all good. Let me know what you would do. Would you look for more areas, or you look for a different pattern? Right now, I think I'm gonna go look for more areas just like this. Never fails. Here come the gosh dang on boats. It never fails. Nobody been around me this whole time I've been talking to you, and now here they come. Look at there. Look at there. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Literally nobody was here. Nobody was riding around, and now unbelievable. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they don't know. Yeah. Yeah, somebody always catches them in both lakes. I've never been here and then not, God, that's a pretty good one though, Flint. That's a 4-pounder for real. Jeez. That is definitely a 4-pounder. I mean, I never have, but people have before. No, that ain't no bad. You kidding me? A fucking giant here. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay. That's a good one. There's a boat behind me, so I'm not talking. There's a boat behind me, so I'm not talking about the fish right now. My competitors. There's hydrilla all out here, and I just threw a Wacky rig. I've been flipping the pads. And instead of flipping, just threw my Wacky rig out in the middle of nowhere. I didn't even think this was a bite. It's a 2.5 pounder. The thing about it is this is an easy fish to catch. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It doesn't seem like much with that small bite that I just had, but in Florida, a lot of times that's what I'll catch first, is those little ones. And if you can get in an area where you can get a lot of bites, then my chances of catching a bigger one are the deal. It's very, very rare for fish in Florida to travel in sizes. You can catch a little one just as easy as you can catch a big one, or vice versa. You see it all the time, guys that have 26, 27 pounds one day and then 8 the next day. That's just how it is. The more fish you can catch, the better off your chances of catching a good one here. All right, y'all let me know what you're thinking. From what you've seen so far, should I go in the tournament to Cypress, or should I stay in Toho? I can tell you where I'm leaning, but I would love to hear, if you were practicing this tournament and you see what I'm catching in each lake, which one would you go to? Would you be at Cypress, or would you stay here in Toho? Okay, here's my final decision for this week. I fished 3 lakes in 3 days. I started off at Kissimmee, didn't really like what I saw. I came to Toho and I fished in Cypress. And from what I can tell, I've made a final decision on this, and from what I can tell, I feel like Toho is gonna be the best bet for me. This is the reason why. We got cold front coming. The wind is gonna blow 15 to 20 miles an hour, which means we could have day 1 of the event canceled anyway with as much wind as we got going. So I'm gonna stay in Toho this time because I wanna maximize the time that I fish. If I go to any other lake, I gotta go through the lock. And that's a minimum of at least an hour of my day and my time that I won't get to fish. So in anticipation of the fishing being a little tough, I think I'm gonna stay here in Toho for the first time in 5 trips to this chain of lakes. I'm gonna stay here in Toho and fish. That's my final decision.